or in the all markets chat. All right. Good morning, everybody. All right, welcome to the All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and we're going to be going through live order flow analysis with the goal here of understanding the participants in the auction process. The way that they can participate is via their orders. This is not open cry out like back in the pits, so the only way that you can participate is by setting orders or trading with market orders and seeing the transactions in the time and sales. All right, so by understanding the order flow, then we have an edge because we can understand the participants' behavior, and that's what we're here for. All right, our Bookmap Academy, I'm sorry we couldn't meet yesterday, but this is the process we go through in here. Top-down approach, impetus, what's moving the markets, understand what's happening out there, and what's the reaction to the impetus from the market sentiment. And then we're going to look at our key levels, and then finally we'll start to develop some strategies and scenarios around those key levels. So for example, if we're trading price actions going up, hits a key level, but the kind of overall sentiment or the fundamentals or what's driving that market isn't so bullish, we'll look for initially the scenario for trading it back into the range, right? So that's what I mean by number 3, strategies and scenarios. And then finally we get to your setup. So you're going to select the proper setup for trading that day or this opportunity. You should know your setups. This is what the pilot program goes through. And then you grade your setup, you determine your risk and your sizing, and you look for the order flow to execute. That's it. That's the process. All right, so the pilot program I just mentioned is about building an edge. Is understanding, we start with just one setup and really know it extremely well. Use replay mode so you know the ins and outs of that strategy, and you start to collect it, the data in the Bookmap trading journal, so that you have proven to yourself that you have an edge. And this is the biggest gap that I've seen between traders. Most traders, they understand the setups extremely well. They understand the mechanics behind it, but they don't know if it has an edge or not. So what happens? Well, they maybe have some winners, have some losers, but they don't have confidence in the setup. Maybe they take profits too early. They set their stops too tightly. It just is kind of a downward spiral from there. So this program is designed to eliminate that. We have a structured process. You can go through this process and build out your trading edge. And this is the fastest process I've seen, a fastest method for making this edge. Instead of tediously going through and measuring it, you'll actually be trading it in replay mode. All right, let's go through some disclosures and jump in. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump in. Let's take a look. We're looking at the S&P E-mini. What do we see so far? Well, here's the cash open, and I'm zooming out here for a couple of days, 3 or 4 days here. So in fact, let's look at the entire week. Okay, this is the week here, right? Yeah, 19th, and you can see it here in Bookmap. We covered this last time for you guys. You can get access to this with 7.6 or 7.7, but 7.7 for sure. If you zoom, you can zoom out like this and look at multiple days of the order flow in Bookmap. So here's the entire week, right? And what have we done this week? Well, it's been pretty volatile, some pretty big back and forth moves in here, and the swings are like hold on tight. And it's been really back and forth. There's all sorts of things going on in the market, so all sorts of geopolitical tensions and tariff talks. We know that the markets really have been reacting to that since Trump started mentioning tariffs and these kind of trade wars. And we see a lot of that volatility in here, right? So, in fact, let me bring up the VIX for a second here, and kind of curious what the VIX is at right now. Okay, so we're down at 15, so not so bad. The volatility has kind of calmed down a little bit. Trump has pulled back on some of the trade war stuff. We're seeing the markets react to that, right? So there's an impetus. There's something to look at, and basically we can start to develop, off of our key levels in here, we can then start to develop some strategies and scenarios. Okay, so for example, look at the range here from the cash open. Okay, right in here, here's our cash open, here's a strategy right in front of you. We trade up, we trade back down here. Okay, looks like we had some data here at 9:45 and 10, which was the flash manufacturing PMI and University of Michigan sentiment. That's no big deal, but anyway, we see the liquidity kind of dried up in some of those areas here. What happened? Well, the market's moving back up. All right, so that's good. That's a good sign. There's your strategy. Like if you are looking at this kind of key level down here around this 26 or 25 level, and you want to look at the order flow around that level for a potential buy. Okay? And here's one right here. In fact, this would be a smaller example of the trend line break and accumulation that you could have looked at right here, and some structural levels here, right there. Based off of that, where would you be taking your profits? Well, you might be taking some off here at this level. You might be holding for this level. Okay, didn't make it to that level, and then you had some data, and then we see the back and forth again. Okay, well, I don't know, maybe you're still bullish down here. Okay, what is the order flow telling you? You can look at these levels in here, and again, we can start to look at some structure and look for breakouts and look for aggressive buyers to drive that market up toward high liquidity on the offer. Right, and that's exactly what it did here. Okay, so let's go to the current market, here's our pullback here, and now we're going to highs of the day. Okay, so look at the 69.50 up here, trading right into it. All right, now at this point up in 69.50, this is nice volume here. Look at the aggression here by the green dots moving price higher, this is good momentum. I would look for it to go higher, but I'm kind of weary up here, or leery I should say, at this figure 69.50, and I also have a kind of an options level there that I'm looking at, so I really want to pay attention here. I would have taken some profit up here. All right, that's the way I would have dealt with it. Anyway, just wanted to cover going back again to our process here: impetus, key levels, scenarios and strategies, and your setup. Okay, so that would have been it's not really a reversal, but it broke structure. We look for the buyers to come in and take profit up at high liquidity. All right, so anyway, just some ideas here. I'm not detailing out any sort of specific strategy, but how to understand order flow within a context here. All right, so I hope that helps. Let's see if there's any questions. Okay, no, we're looking pretty good. All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's continue to look here and see what's going on. All right. So what's happening in the order flow up in here? Okay. Well, we traded into high liquidity, like we had just mentioned. We're still seeing some buyers, and we also see this here at 48, high liquidity coming in just recently here, right? So what was on the offer here is now on the bid. Okay. So this is not really. You could say maybe it's support here at this swing, but it's demand is what it is. These are limit buy orders. So let's see how the market reacts to these limit buy orders at 48. Okay, do we trade down to them? If we don't trade down to them, what's the bid look like? Okay, see the bid? They're bidding up in here a little bit more. Okay, do they stay in the order book? Do these sellers in here want to trade down to this liquidity here? Well, we're finding it kind of here. They just pulled and added higher. Now, let's see if these sellers take these guys on here. Now, it's kind of repelling the sellers. Okay, so all right. So let's see the buyers take it up into 52 and 53. Okay, and have that momentum continue. Okay, we just traded into high liquidity here on the bid at 50 and 3/4. We just traded 52. Let's see if we can get to 53 and maybe 55 as well. Okay, again, just for those of you in the pilot program or maybe new in here, we're not going through any specific setup in here. We're going through different scenarios and then looking for order flow to support some of those scenarios. Okay, so yeah, you can see that we trade into high liquidity in here. We don't get back up to 53, so we found some selling now. All right, so we're finding kind of a back and forth environment in here so far. Okay, high momentum, or a lot of buying in here. But how much more is there? How much of these limit sell orders in here, how much did they absorb of that buying pressure? Okay, do we start to see the buying pressure wane in here? Do we see sellers starting to come in? Okay, if we do, and now we're starting to see that, we start to look at some of these levels like down here at this kind of swing here where it broke out from. And then start to look at, well, we have a high volume node there, but we also look at liquidity. Are there buyers down here at these levels that these sellers can interact with? Okay, and they're starting to show some interest in here. Okay, now that's quite a bit of selling now. All right, so now let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, so it's bullish that we broke this, but we know there's also lots of liquidity that got filled along the way up in these areas in here, and then just in these areas up in here now. Okay, and now we're starting to find some sellers. Okay, so again, we can look at just some context and some patterns in here. See the selling over here on the offer, these limit sell orders. Okay, well, we trade into them and through them, but we come back and retest where all of this buying came back in. Okay, and we moved higher here. Okay, so again, starting to understand, looking at some of these levels in here, and starting to understand the context of the order flow. Wow, okay, looking for a retest back down to these levels in here. But if we find more buyers coming in, then we can look for returning back to high liquidity here again on the offer, and we do get that. Now we trade up into high liquidity up in these areas up in here, and the question is, do we get more aggressive buyers? Now, earlier I was looking for these buyers to take it up into 52, 53, and 55 potentially. They didn't even get to 53. Okay, we peter out here, or we see some buying up in here, but it trades right into high liquidity. Okay, now the sellers are coming in. Okay, so where are they going to go? Well, we just outlined this area in here. See the high liquidity in here? We can do the same over here. Okay, right in here. So we're kind of bouncing off around that area in here. All right, so if that is the case, then what are we looking for in here? Are we looking for another leg lower? Are we going to get lots of sellers? Or are we going to come back up and get buyers up here at 48? And if so, and the bid is strong, I would look for them to trade back up into where it dropped from here at 50 or 52. Okay. Anyway, let's take a look, a step back and take a look at our higher time frame. And we'll look at our candlestick chart in here and look at the daily over here, daily bars, the hourly in the middle here, and then the 15-minute on the right. Okay, so well, we gapped down. This was on Friday. This was that Friday we gapped down and continued on lower. And then you can see the volatility. We come right back up. And then we went right back down again. Let's take a look at this hourly in here. It's brutal. Okay. Yeah, we were looking at this was the webinar on Tuesday, and we're looking at this back and forth environment in here. Okay, and it was two-sided. It was chop. Right at the end of the webinar, we started to move. Let's see, this is actually the 1 o'clock candle. Yeah, it was the webinar had ended in the choppy area in here, and then you see the sellers come back in. All right, let's take away a few things in here. Number one is this is actually the direction we would be looking for, would be to the downside. We were looking for potentially filling the gap up in here, or maybe we had gapped down too far, and then looking for buyers to come back in and maybe fill these gaps. But this was a lot of momentum in here. So all of this chop in here, and we see who followed through with the sellers. Okay? And the sellers dropped it back down into this kind of 68.22 area here, a little bit lower. And then we see the buyers come back in. Sellers come back in hard again, defending this area up here. And then buyers come in yet again. Pretty strong candle here, pretty strong momentum. And don't quite fill the gap here, but come pretty close. And then we see the chop around in here. Okay, and that's kind of where we are right now. All right, so here's the gap open from, this is on the 21st. Didn't fill it, but more buyers come back in. All right, so let's take a look at these areas in here and what's going on in here. This has got to be the tariff news, right? So anyone catch some of these moves or reacting to some of these moves in here? Sure, many of you guys are. Anyway, we just filled the gap here on the 15-minute chart. Actually, earlier we filled that gap, and we're starting to see some wicks up in here. Okay. Yeah, so this 20-25 area down here, the swing, and then looking at the swing up here, or where we drop from up in here. Let me outline it a little bit better. Okay. So basically this kind of cluster and then the drive away from it, right? So we would look for the first retest to be up here. If there's more momentum, we look for the kind of high volume node within this cluster, or the swings up in here. So back up into the highs here. Okay, so those are our levels in here on the buy side. So 52, 60, and 67. Okay, on the sell side, I would be looking at maybe a level down here. Looks like it's around 35, and also down here at the swing around that 22, 25, 22, something like that. All right, that's what I see. And come back in here and we're just chopping. Okay, pretty strong bid coming in, as you guys can see the layering in here. Note that you see the little white line in there. That's our large lot tracker. So this is the single player in here providing that liquidity. In fact, pretty interesting stuff here. You can see it 1, 2, 3, right? Every other tick. Here's our large lot tracker, so we can identify that this is about half of the liquidity here. So it's probably around 50 lot, I would say, at these levels in here is one individual trader. Okay, so he's got probably around 150 that he wants to get filled in here. Is it a target? We don't know, or is it for going short? We just know that there's liquidity there. In fact, we had a great event on Wednesday with Scott Pulcini. I think a lot of you guys came to that. So I can give you the link to that. The recording here. It was only in Discord, so it was great. Great to have that. But yeah, here's the link to it here. I'll paste it into the chat for you guys. There you go. And here in the all markets, there you go. Boy, guys, I really just don't see much. Buyers are trying here, but these sellers came in here, so to me it's looking pretty back and forth. Okay, now we're getting some insight. All right, so now all right, buyers are willing to take that and trade into it. Now let's see, this is what we want to understand, is the context after this. Okay, is there still more buying pressure? Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, now when we look for breakouts like this, we look for more than just like a point here. It's really just kind of a point in a quarter or so. Okay, that's not enough, to really get a deeper insight here. All right, it can go either way very easily here. Okay, we look for like a big move and maybe above 3 points basically. We want to see a sustained move outside of the range and a new understanding of value in the auction. And right now it's just teetering or testing back up into this area. This is a death zone. Yeah, and we kind of know, like, we're in this back and forth environment. Question is, do we get a lot of sellers in here after this? Not really. We're just kind of chopping around in here. Let's put some stops on here as well. Stops and icebergs. And we'll take the CVD off. Okay. We haven't had a big stop run up here yet. So yeah, I would hold off on this. In fact, okay, here's an idea. It's just an idea. If we come up here and we get buyers in here, I would anticipate a scalp or a quick move or stop run up into 53, 54, 55, because we have not had it yet. Okay, so I would look for that. Let's see if these buyers press it here, and then we break to highs of the day, and we look for the red line down here to spike to the upside here. Okay, and it would be just a scalp to begin with. Okay, the stop run, we want to see what happens after the stop run, but we can anticipate this stop run as it's squeezing here, right? And we can look for that, let's see if we get it here. Okay. Okay, so no, we didn't, we got some sellers coming back in. All right, so let's go through another scenario then. Okay, and what we just covered in here. So now we found some sellers. Okay, well, what if we get buyers back up above this area here? I'm looking for that squeeze. Okay, into this high liquidity up here. Okay. Now, is this a trade I'd take? No, I don't think so. I need to see a lot more in here on the bid, and I need to see these buyers step in here. But I'm looking for a quick move up into this liquidity up in here. Okay, the problem is, like, how do you assess the risk in something like this? It's hard. If we had a really strong bid in here and it repelled those sellers, then we have something better. Again, it's not a setup, but we have more order flow and context on our side here. Pete, repeat, you got, did you see a stop run up into that area you're talking about here? Yeah, here I'm looking for that squeeze here. Let's see if we can get it now. Okay, it looks much better now. Again, I would not put risk on this. But that's what I'm looking for in the order flow. Wow, repeat, you're using CQG, no kidding. Okay. I haven't seen CQG in quite a while, and I don't even know, like, if on some of these instruments they're providing full depth of market. I know they don't provide the MBO data. So here we go, still looking for that squeeze, guys. Now this is going to be, I'm looking for a really quick move here, okay, to unfold and just trade into all this high liquidity up in here, sweep the order book. Now we can go through the opposite scenario as well and think about, like, all these buyers trying, and they just can't seem to lift the market, right? Where would they be positioned? Where will they get stopped out? Okay, there's going to be a really nice move to the downside below 49 here if that happens, and probably come down to about 46. So this is where, like, you'll see the trap set in here. Okay, if the sellers can come in now. Yeah, trading is life. Slow grind today. I mean, the moves have already kind of unfolded, right? And the value has already been kind of determined. And it's back in here. All of this back and forth in here for the week, right? I mean, look at these big moves in here, right? And they're kind of straight up and straight back down. You know, that's the volatility. That's the VIX, right? Here's the VIX. We talked about this earlier in the week, and we're just starting to get up into kind of elevated levels around 20. We really want to see it, like, you know, usually like 20 is a good kind of measure for some volatility, but we want to see it above 30 is where we really start to pick up on volatility. Hey, just go back and take a look at the chart. You can see it. Well, maybe around 27, 28 in here. Okay, this is just a daily chart from investing.com. And it's, you know, it's delayed data, etc., but it's on the daily chart. And I'm just looking for some zones and some levels in here. Anyway, as you guys can see, like, you know, the scenarios we're outlining here, like, we're not looking for anything great. It's just not that good. So we're just kind of bouncing around in here. One thing I think is worth noting is, like, you know, we've started to eke more into, you know, talking about fundamentals and bringing that into the, you know, the impetus in here. I want to go over more and more of this because, you know, this is really the market mover. It's typically the news, the fundamentals, the data, and moreover, we want to understand what that data is, but how the market is reacting to it. It's really about the market sentiment that we want to understand. What does the market feel about some of these things? Okay, and here you can see, like, you know, for today, the move to the upside in here, you know, not bad because it looks like some of that tariff that tariff news is kind of alleviated. So where are we going to go on the bigger picture? Well, we can also look at some structural levels in here from this was on January 23rd. So just, or I'm sorry, this is the overnight here. I would look for this area right here. It looks pretty good, right? Right there as a potential target. Okay, we're struggling at this area right here, as you guys can see, and just trying to get through it here. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so again, just levels and order flow. There's a stop run here. Interesting. It's not that big, but yeah, it's not very big at all. It's just we haven't seen it yet, right? Now we've got potential for it, right? Look at the selling in here. They're going to be trapped, and we should see the stop run to the upside here. Okay, this is the move we were waiting for over here several times. Now it's about to unfold. Okay, and up to 55, I would be, if I took that, which I wouldn't, but I would be getting out around 55 and that high liquidity. Okay, I'm still waiting for that stop run. I want to confirm that. Let's see it. Let's see it, guys. Oh, we might even come up to 60 on that stop run. Let's zoom out again in here. Let's put another level in here. Okay, so it would be up in here from the overnight. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, between 60, 62 and a half or so. There's our stop run. Okay, there we go. Now, how many is that? It's not a whole lot for the S&P. Let's put the on chart indicator here. Okay, looks good. All right, so 211.51. I think there's still some more juice in this. Let's see if we can get it here. Who are you talking about? Repeat. Ah, POTUS, right? Yeah, yeah. Well, heck, you know the traders love it. That's for sure. You know, it's kind of like guaranteed volatility there. All right, guys. Well, anyway, look at our you know our market in here. Let's kind of review a little bit in here, and this is what we were looking for, and we just didn't see it for a while. This breakout here as a stop run though, and then to see if we accept or reject back up above in here is still a question to answer. But this was the move we're looking for. Now, what's the key? What's the takeaway from this? Is let's just take a look here at the transactions and the order flow. All right, so we're looking for it to happen up here. Look pretty good to me to happen right here. We have some selling that will be fuel for that stop run. Didn't get it, right? We come back into the range. We come back to the other side of this very small range here, and we trade into liquidity down here. Then we get another attack in here by the buyers, and then we get our move, okay, and our stop run, right? So on a day like today, here's something to take away from this, is understand up in these areas up in here that we need some fuel to the fire for the stop run that we're anticipating. And it's when maybe these sellers in here are on the hook that we can get them to get squeezed out of the market. Right, so that's a takeaway in here, and let's just you can turn something like this into a strategy, and then you have to go back and test it. But the strategy would be this: we're up at highs for the day. We're anticipating a stop run. We don't have enough fuel to the fire yet, though, for that fire. So we're looking for them to be on the hook. And then I think we drew this line in here, or maybe it was this area here. Yeah, maybe it was this area here, thinking, okay, we found some, and now we're looking for them to get squeezed. Well, we had to come back all the way back down here, and then these sellers in here, which, you know, maybe it was the buyers who were going to get squeezed. We mentioned that, and then maybe we'd come back down into these lower levels in here. Okay, it didn't unfold. We rotate back up when we find the buyers that can light the fire for the stop run. Okay. All right, so the key takeaway would be, like, if we don't see enough buyers in here, they just can't lift it. Look for, number one, the sellers to come in pretty heavy and trade back down to some of these levels. Okay, the swings that we're looking for. If they can't muster that move, you can see they came down to this swing and couldn't get below it, and the buyers do mount another attack here, we're back to looking for that squeeze to the upside. Hey, does that make sense? I know it sounds a little complex, but you can really you can put these pieces together and then look for something like this to unfold. I still think we have a little more juice in here. Not much, but 60, 62, or 3 are levels that we kind of drew in here from our higher time frame. And that's about it. Okay, let's take a look at our candlestick chart. Yesterday's high was 67, so maybe we can get up to 67 as well. Okay, we're just talking about this 62, 63 area up in here. So yeah, we can get up on maybe here. I'm looking at on the 15-minute 68.5 or so. Okay, well, let's see these buyers continue with their momentum then. Okay, next stop is up here somewhere around this 63.5, which is our level here. And yeah, trading is life. It's just grinding. We see this a lot on Fridays. It will just kind of a lot of times it goes one direction, then it reverses and then just grinds higher the rest of the day. Okay, we're up at 60. How is the market reacting to that liquidity up in here? What's the bid look like? What's the offer look like? We can look at MNQ. Yeah. Let's see, Kevin, you got a question over in YouTube. Using Bookmap for Forex pairs. So you're connected then, Kevin, to CME. What are you looking at? Are you looking at euro dollar? Something else? While we're waiting for an answer, let's jump over to MNQ. Okay. Now I would anticipate MNQ as being a lot more bullish than the S&P due to the tech sector, of course. And then we can look for this 850 level up here to potentially trade. Now we just traded into high liquidity here though at 25. 825 here. And so we need to maybe take a little bit of a rest here until we get more buyers coming back in. I don't know if this is a key level or not, so kind of flying blind on that one. And zoom out a bit. Oh yeah, for those that want, or we talked about this on Tuesday, the zooming out. This is what you'll need for that, and you can get access to it. First you have to have Bookmap Data, and you can zoom out like this. Now you also have to have Bookmap 7.7. I believe it works in 7.6, but it's probably better to get the beta version 7.7. And it only works on a few instruments, the ES, the NQ, and I believe the Russell. Okay, and then you'll need to check the box here for experimental dynamic history. Okay, and then you should be able to zoom out. Let's zoom out. Okay, so yeah, I would look for key level up in here. Yeah, maybe this kind of 900 up in here looks pretty good. boy, even like 2600 up here, the big figure. It's a lot of momentum coming in right now. And why the MNQ? Guys, like look at the amount of liquidity in here. It looks a lot better in the heat map. I wanted to show it and just cover it for you guys. You know, here we see 30, 36, 70, you know, 42, 211 or 12. It's a lot more compared to the NQ. Here, well, let's just add the NQ in here. And the heat map looks a lot more refined due to that. In fact, let's look at the, oh, this is another thing you'll need to do for that zoom out is when you put in the contract in here, this is important. I'm sorry, I forgot that step. You need to put in the continuous contract. Just put in NQ. Don't put in the expiry month or the year, okay? And then subscribe. Yeah, see, we're in the single digits, or maybe 10 or 80 up here instead of, you know, it's more than double what was up here in the MNQ, the micro, right? And see the heat map in here. It's not bad, but you can see it's kind of thin in here. Okay, we're still importing some data. Here we go. Okay, I mean these levels, they're still important. You know, the liquidity is there. It just you can see this thinness in the heat map, right? Let's go over to the NQ. In fact, let's do this. Here, actually, we'll go here. Time slices, and we'll put in one. How many days do we, or how many hours do we have in here? Okay, let's put in an hour of data. All right. And now let's go to the MNQ and we'll put in an hour of data. I use the time slice tool. Okay. So you can kind of compare. I mean, this just looks a little cleaner, right? Mahmoud, you want to look at gold? Yeah, I've got it up. Okay, so yeah, I would look for this high liquidity up here, 850 as the target. It's just grinding up, as Trading is Life had mentioned. We don't know. You know, with the fundamentals behind it, I would look for the grind up. But again, like you know, we're not really, we don't really see any opportunities in here today. Yeah, they were earlier. Let's jump over to gold. You can see gold very thin as well. Gold's starting to move. It's above here. Now, I don't see a lot of buying in here in gold, right? They got to show up. If they can, if these buyers can show up in here, I would look for the move pretty quick, actually, up to 74, 80, and 84. Because there's a lot of selling in here. The same idea that we covered before. Right, look at CVD in here, just cratering, right? What that means is we got a lot of sellers up here at these highs. If we can get back up above and find some buyers, these guys in here are going to be a lot of those buyers, and they're going to really you know, feel the pain in the squeeze. And then I would just start targeting areas of high liquidity. Right now, if the sellers rule, you know, we don't get any of those buyers in here. It doesn't cascade any of the stops in here. We keep on coming up higher. We don't find buyers. We don't find buyers. Then you know, there's a lot of selling in here, and we can look for them to move this market. And look at the structure. There's some nice structure in here, and look for sellers to start to gain some momentum here on the downside. Okay. So here, look at this high liquidity here at 65. Okay, this is going to be kind of telltale. This is a good way to start to understand Bookmap or the order flow. How are they reacting to this high liquidity that came in here at a lower level here, right? 24 contracts at 65 there. Okay, now there's our answer, right? We found some buyers. Okay, now can we get a little bit more above it here? Then let's see the squeezes on here. Okay, so I'm looking for that again in here. Again, this is choppy market, but I'm looking for a squeeze. Okay, and we can look for, again, we start to target areas of high liquidity. All right, Mahmood. If you're interested in this is what you need. You'll need at least global, Bookmap Global for this. And then you'll need, if you just trade gold, you just need COMEX from the CME. That's it. Okay, so I think the overall cost would be, it's $50 for global, a monthly cost, and then COMEX would be 17 for the first month and 34 for after that. Yeah, around $83 is what it would cost you. Okay, if you want to try it out. Or maybe you already took advantage of the year-end sale that we had. Okay, so maybe you're already up and running. Repeat. Great. So yeah, you're riding the freight train, huh? Okay. You are looking at the NQ. So let's go back here. Oh, look at that. All right, so we couldn't get up into this area up in here. This is our exhaustion up in here. Look, I hate to explain the market after, but it's in this back and forth in here. And then here's our market structure. It's easy to look at in hindsight, but now the sellers are coming in hand over fist, right? We're looking for them to trade back down into these levels down here. Okay, so I would look for a test into this. And then we've also got the figure down here where we got 805 and 800. Now, I don't know, maybe there's some fundamental news out there or geopolitical stuff, or maybe we just ran out of buyers and sellers came in hand over fist. Okay, but I would still look for this momentum here to, I want to see the retest into these zones, these levels down here. Okay. All right, ES, same deal. All right, well, we got to our 63 level though, right? So that's not a surprise on the ES. Now, again, I didn't look at the higher time frame levels in the NQ, but our ES here it is right in front of us, right? You know, we were looking at that. Well, we said 63, and it was due to, it was actually in Bookmap, not on the candlestick chart. Yeah, it was right here, the overnight. Okay, so you know that's not a surprise. $25 804 was the impulse. Let's take a look here. So right around in here, I think. Well, I'm showing kind of. Well, I mean, the bigger impulse move, broke out here, is what I'm seeing repeat. And then another one would be, yeah, probably around in here, but I'm seeing it around 10. But it went right down to 05 here, and that liquidity here. Oh, I see. You're looking at this in here. So this little back and forth, and then this jaunt here to the upside. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Another thing, I'm sure you're looking at. I think you look at volume profile repeat. Is that right? So you'd probably be looking at a high volume node in here. Boy, not much, huh? Yeah, I don't know. I really don't see it. I see it here at 10. And here's our volatility right back up. Okay, Brugesh, you see a single print at 69.54 on the ES. Let's take a look. All right, guys. Well, anyway, this NQ down, we wanted to see the test into these levels here. Okay, and some of this liquidity in here. Okay, now we're getting our response. Okay, some nice stuff here actually. This is going to be a big stop run here, and then we're back up above it here, and buyers taking control. Okay, let's take a look at that 69.54. Yeah, this kind of area in here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this was that breakout here. Here's our retest here, and then the continuation. So we know that we're gonna have a low volume node in here, right? You don't have to. I mean, you can see it here in the columns, but here's the quick move through it, and then it didn't trade back into this area in here, and it still hasn't. Any little PB would work today. All right, let me see if there's any questions over here in YouTube. Thanks, Alois. Yep. Bookmap Global and Comex Data. Yep. Thank you. Let's jump over to it. Let's see what did we get here. I think we said 75, right? Well, look at that move. This is what we are anticipating. In fact, right? I'm not making it up, right? We said 75, and then maybe 80 or higher, but 75. Right, and then we're looking for a stop run up into it because there was a lot of selling in here, right? Hold on, let me see if I can zoom. I'm having problems with this. I don't know if you guys have. I'll have to talk to the developers. Dragging this around in here is not easy in 7.7. Yeah, we saw all this selling in here, which was odd, right? And then we're looking for, boy, if we can get back up here and get that fuel going. So up into 75, 80, and maybe higher. Let's put on our stops and icebergs in here, and we'll put both on subchart and on chart. Okay. And I'm going to close the NQ over here. We don't need this. Looking at the MNQ. Okay, there's our stop run, right? Right there, beauty. That's exactly, this is the kind of stop run I thought we'd get in the ES. We didn't, or not as dramatic as this one here. That's a nice one for gold. So it was about 150 aggregate. All right, guys. I mean, really, I think we'll just wrap it up here. There's not really too much to go through. We went through a lot of kind of nuanced things in here, looking for the squeeze, combining the kind of bigger picture technical levels with our fundamentals, and then looking for squeezes in here as being the kind of order flow event, and order book sweeps. Yeah, okay, these levels were reached, and that's good. But I just don't see the conviction up at these levels up in here. Right. So for me, this is just back and forth with people that got it right and people that got it wrong, and looking at these squeezes back and forth in here. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. Let's see if there's any questions in here. Oh yeah. Alois looking for the pullback. Yeah. Well, here it is. I just don't like these levels up here. I mean, it hit that overnight. This is why we look at, let's talk maybe just a little bit about this in here. We've had a lot of questions in the pilot program about levels, higher time frame levels. Well, this is an important one here for today. Okay, it is the overnight high. All right, now that's not as important as yesterday's high over in here. Okay, so we need to see, but these are the things that we want to look at in terms of higher time frame levels. So the drill down is pretty simple, and really I try to keep it simple, but whatever you guys study, it's up to you. Maybe you're looking at Fibonacci levels. Maybe you're looking at floor trader pivot levels. Maybe you're looking at volume profile, single prints, or points of control, or maybe you're looking at value area, high and low, etc. Maybe you're looking at the first hour. These levels might be important to you. I'm just trying to basically keep it simple, and they all kind of, a lot of them combine, to be honest. I'm just looking at some of the swings because I know that there's going to be traders up here reacting to some of these areas. And then how important are they? Okay, so we'll start with like a monthly chart, basically. What are the swings in the monthly chart? Okay, we can do that over here, and take a look at the, no, I can't show it in this chart here. Rhythmic, I can go weekly. All right, well, let's take a look at the weekly levels, right? And then start to look at some of the swings on some of these weekly levels in here. Start with the monthly, start with then the weekly, drill down to the day, and are there important levels in there? We go over it every session, and then start to look at the yesterday's high and low, and then the overnight, and then you start to get into intraday levels. Okay, now the intraday levels are the least powerful. Okay, but we're talking about the same ideas around some of the swings in here. Okay, so the NASDAQ, for example, we're looking for that move back down into some of the swings in here. Okay, we got it, and we got a reaction as well. Repeat. I'm not sure I quite follow you there. I know it's a joke, but uh, anyway, then what we do is we want to look at, it's the same process in here again, is we look at our what's moving the market and then our key levels. Okay, and then start drilling down in those levels, and then start to develop our strategies and scenarios around it, and then look for our setup. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Let's wrap it up. We'll call it a week, and we will catch up with you on Monday. And also, pilot program people will have a lot more to go over very, very soon. All right. So just I know I've kind of been away for a bit, but a lot of things going on, a lot of different things over here at Bookmap, and I can start to turn around and pay a lot of attention into that pilot program. All right. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week. Yep. Take care.